Now that we're done addressing the serious news about the manosphere, certain videos I've seen as of late regarding the recent news of certain celebrities, one alive, one dead, who are being hounded for past claims, I'll say half of which are definitely unfounded, and address it to my colleagues about it, I want to lighten up a bit because it is the weekend and we like to keep things at least on the lighter side when it comes to just the weekend, because we all have enough stress to deal with during the week. And one of the things I want to talk about, which we've touched on in previous videos, but today I really want to emphasize this, and that is the carousel, aka, well, you know what the carousel is. For all of you guys out there who have been watching these videos or have been involved in the manosphere, red pill videos, etc., we know how the carousel can be as beneficial as it is brutal. And that all depends on which side of the SMV market you are on. Now, there are three categories of men within this carousel ride. Those who are on it, those who have a seat, yeah, you know, those guys who are currently riding the carousel and are having the time of their lives. Those who are off of it, and these are the two other categories. Those who are off of it, this is the second category. Those who are not riding the carousel and wanting to completely stop. And those who aren't on the carousel and not necessarily want to stop it, but to pause it. Let's go into the details of these three categories. One, obviously, as you can guess, if you have basic red pill knowledge, the person who is on the carousel, the guys who are on the carousel, these are the alpha males, the select males, the jawline dudes, as other individuals would say. These are the guys who are, at the very least, getting their turn to ride at least one carousel at a time, if not multiple carousels. These are the guys who aren't complaining, aren't on here talking about women, and in some cases somewhat defending women, or just saying, oh, it's their nature, they do what they do, it's just a matter of, you know, hypergamy is natural and monogamy was something that came down 50 centuries ago. And I'm not knocking these guys neither. They have a reason on why they're defending the carousel, and it's basically because of their experience, particularly their positive experience on riding the carousel, having plenty of seats, not those kind of seats, and still having a spot with the carousel, even to the point of, well, I'm hearing people like Alan Roger Curtin, shout out to him. Happy recent birthday to him. I know it passed by, like it was last Sunday, so shout out to him. That was a delayed happy birthday there. I especially should know about his birthday for reasons I won't get into. But as far as he is concerned, he stated that on his previous video that he's even dating chicks in their 20s and he's a guy in his 50s. So of course you're not going to hear him complain about the current state of the carousel. That's just natural. The second individual of guys are guys who aren't on the carousel and want the carousel to completely stop. These guys are usually your traditional conservative guys, guys who are stuck in particular scenarios in which they can't take advantage of the carousel, and either due to their religious convictions or mainly due to the fact that they can't get on the carousel, mainly because they're stuck in some sort of committed relationship or marriage. They don't want anyone else in the carousel. Now, this is the actual truth of why these guys want the carousel to stop. Now, you hear these guys who say and use religious scripture and justifications on why they want this carousel to stop and why we should all go back to a traditionally conservative time where every man had a woman, not necessarily every woman having a man, but every man having a woman and having a pot to piss in, a window to throw it out of, a chicken in every oven, and a woman in every bed. These are the guys who, due to the fact of their scenario of being stuck in a marriage, particularly a sexless marriage, these are the guys who just want the laws to be reversed so that they can benefit from it. And as far as this is concerned, it's been touched earlier by the likes of your Ron Wills that, look, these feminists created the second wave mainly because they were tired of sleeping with what they considered beta males, what they considered men who weren't sexually worthy, who didn't turn them on, who weren't appeasing to them. And a lot of these women were fed up to the point in which they started making the laws to say, hey, look, my body, my choice. And not just when it comes to pregnancies and abortions and that sort of thing. These guys who want the carousel to stop basically have little to no sexual outlet. And I'm not rubbing it in their face. I'm not rubbing my balls in their face. This isn't the channel for that. But we have to tell the truth on what this is. A lot of these guys are basically miserable. And if they're going to be miserable without the laws intervening for them to refer back to the 50s where they can use their wives like sexual chattel and property, they don't want anyone to. They don't want anyone to have fun. So as far as this is concerned, this is your second group of individuals. Now you have some who are deeply rooted in their faith and their belief, and that's fine. Okay, fine. If you want it to stop because of your convictions, that's one thing. But let's not lie here, gentlemen. Ain't no need to lie, Craig. Do not lie to the people. We have to tell the truth on what this really is. Now for the third group of individuals. The third group of individuals who basically are complaining about the carousel. These aren't the individuals who are necessarily wanting the carousel to stop. Granted, they have no seats in the carousel, or if they do have a seat in the carousel, they have it in a seat in which they don't want to currently be in. These guys, rather than having the carousel stop, these guys want the carousel to pause. Now, what do I mean by pause? This is a metaphorical term I'm using for the carousel pausing. These guys who are talking about, well, these women, man, these women aren't choosing the nice guys and the guys who can bring it and the guys who have enough resources. All this virtue signaling of them wanting the carousel to stop and all this other kind of stuff. A lot of these guys don't want it to stop. They just want it to pause enough so that they can be a beneficiary of the carousel themselves. Now, they will sound like the second group of men who want the carousel to stop completely, but in reality, these guys are no different than your average guys who want to ride the carousel, but for some reason can't. And I'm not saying it's all of their faults in this case when it comes to these guys. I know a lot of guys who try to do the right thing, but still fall short, at least in places where they are, whether it's because of their stubbornness to leave the community or the daggle or even the waggle. You have a lot of these guys, and you see a lot with these MGTOW guys who basically whine and complain, and I'll definitely put MGTOW guys in this third category of men who complain, and these guys act like they're too cool for school, right? They act like, oh, I don't even want to be on the carousel. I'm just happy right here. But damn that carousel to hell. It keeps spinning and spinning and twirling and twerking with all those Brads and Chads and Tyrones and Pre-Chads, Gustavios, all of those guys. They're riding the carousel, but I don't need the carousel. But those women, man, those women, why would you give them the right to vote? Why would you listen to them at all? Why would you allow them to work? I don't get it, man. These women don't know how to choose good men, but I don't need those women. I don't need them. I don't need them because they're going to burn you and they're going to divorce, kick your ass, and they're going to take you to child support and they're going to do all this other kind of stuff because that's just their nature. Yeah, that's their nature, man. Don't make me get the GoBot. I'm about to get the GoBot. Hey, GoBot, get over here. Yeah, tell them. Look, we are being screwed by the matriarchy because we are not allowed to get on the carousel ourselves because the carousel's too fast for us. You know, I'm just a GoBot sitting here and I can only go like 38 miles per hour while the carousel is going at a speed of like 72. But it should slow down for me. I want the carousel to stop. Oh wait, what? No, I want the carousel to stop because we are going down the wrong path of civilization, which it's going to ruin if we continue to have it this way. And we need to go back to traditionalism. Yeah, that's exactly what I meant to say. These guys want the carousel to pause so they can ride it. But here's the thing. A lot of these guys are unwilling to do what it takes to benefit from that carousel. Now, we all know the carousel is the equivalent of a Pandora's box. It is not going to slow down unless something major happens, like a societal collapse, an economic collapse, or some sort of cultural awakening. And from the way it looks, okay, the first two might happen. It might happen in our lifetimes. But at this point, for all you guys who are rooting for the first two, chances are it'll probably happen by the time that a lot of us are out of our sexual prime, just in general. Let's be honest. Unless we're willing to use the money that we've accumulated to basically be the trick or the sugar daddy of some broad out there, nobody has time to wait in order for that to occur. So, in the meantime, particularly you guys in the number 3 spot, and even you guys in the number 2 spot, here is something that I recommend for all you guys. For all you guys who want to get on the carousel and are lying to yourselves saying that, well, we don't care about the carousel and I don't care, I'm just going to bitch and moan about the carousel, but I don't want to get on it. I don't get. Yeah, right. You know what you need to do? You know what you need to do, GoBot? Yeah, we're calling you GoBots. All you guys who are too cool for school, you guys are GoBots. You know what you GoBots need to do? Take advantage of the carousel. Capitalize on the carousel so that you too can have a spot. As far as this is concerned, the carousel is more open than you may think. It's more open than what the MGTOWs and the TFLers, the incel guys have you to believe. That it's only for select men and it's for jawline guys, and I got the scientific report that shows the jawline equivalency correlation to how much of a Chad or Tyrone you... No, don't listen to that crap. Do not give me that pseudoscience alt-right stuff you got on Breitbart or 4chan or wherever. The carousel is more open than you may realize. Now, is it open to everyone? I'm not going to even say yes. There are some people who are, for whatever reason, are debilitated from getting on that carousel. And this isn't towards those guys. But you guys out there who are just sitting around, moping, bitching, whining, and complaining that you can't get on the carousel because it's too fast, or that your carousel seat in it is not adequate enough, self-improve. Work on yourself. Do whatever you have to do. And I've gone through that in all of my other videos on how to join the elite. Other individuals have gone through this on how you can self-improve and make yourself from being a non-select to a select. It can be done. With all this material here, with all these guys here in the manosphere, there is no excuse why you at the very least can't gradually work on yourself as the day is long. There is no excuse why you can't push yourself to being a select man, to being a jawline man, to being an alpha man. All these excuses I've been hearing, all this complaining and whining and bitching, it's fine for a bit. I'll let you guys get it out your system because there's no other place where you can get it out, quite frankly. The mainstream media are calling you guys suckers and telling you guys that you're being misogynistic because you're not fulfilling your role of the beta male provider. I get it. We're not telling you to do that neither. We're not telling you to go back to the plantation by any means. But what is going to have to happen eventually is for the mindset to change to the point in which you can transform yourself into what you want to be so that you can stop, 1, bitching, 2, acting like some sort of social justice warrior, virtue signaling about how you won't get women, won't get in the system because you currently can't. And 3, you can be happier. And isn't this what the Red Pill Manosphere is really all about? I thought the Red Pill Manosphere was to make men happy, was to put them in a position where they'll be better off to the point in which they won't have to worry about women and all this other kind of stuff. Instead, we have a bunch of sour grapes, a bunch of sad sacks of talking about what women are doing, how they're screwing them over and all this other kind of stuff. But in reality, look, maybe a lot of these guys aren't red pill. Maybe a lot of you guys aren't. I know my subs are. I know that. If you're sub to me, you aren't a black pill guy. If you sub to me, you're on the right track. You're on your purpose. But for all these other guys out here, really look at yourself and look at your position. Take that long, hard look in the mirror and see where you really are. And then get back to this red pill content when you really are ready to self-improve, to get on your purpose, to get your mind right, your body right, your savings high, your overhead low. I know these women are doing a lot of guys wrong these days, and I'm not even doubting what you guys are fearing isn't valid. But in the meantime, protect yourselves, be wise in these streets, and take advantage. Take advantage of this carousel. Capitalize it. Do whatever you have to do, as long as it's legal, in order not to complain and bitch about not having the seat in the carousel at all, or not having the seat you want. Yeah, the carousel's not going to stop, but that doesn't mean you can't have at least a few seats on it. Everyone else out there, always bet on X.